Welcome to King the Ride. Today we're going to be comparing, in my opinion, the best money-making rod besides the Ethereal Prism rod with its, more recent version. That being said, we're talking about the Tempest Rod and the Challenger's Rod. Let's get it. So, Tempest Rod came out first, so that was the one I got my hands on. I plan on getting my hands on the other one, but there are more important things in the game at the moment. And when it first came out, it was groundbreaking to me because I didn't know about the steady enchant that used to give plus 25 progress speed to anything you're catching, except for the Skyla. The Skyla's broken. But I didn't know that was a thing, and the Skyla wasn't here yet. So when I got news of the Tempest Rod, that we'll go over the stats in a minute and compare them, has a plus 15 progress speed on anything it catches, it was mind blowing. I was like, that basically just defeats the point of the game. Anything that's supposed to be hard is now made easy, and the whole way you can make the game hard is by increasing progress speed, but now we decrease the progress speed, so now it's just, what's the point? You know what I mean? So this rod was just groundbreaking to me. I bought it, I was happy with it. Looking at the stats, well, we'll talk about money first. It cost 1.85 mil. You know, it's a great money making rod, as I said. At some point, I mean, you're going to progress through the rods, you're going to get, certain rods, but at some point, you're going to have to buy a rod that's a million. Most people are going to buy the Heavens rod, which is a great rod because of the luck, but it's just simply outpaced in terms of money making because you do have to spend that enchant slot on hasty. Otherwise, the rod is just unbearable to use. So, with that being said, and it only has a 15% chance for the 5 times mutation, there's so many other rods in the game that outpace it in terms of money making. Which I think in total that might be like 2 million for that one. It's a whole big old puzzle at the Northern Expedition. I mean, it's fun. It's a nice rod. I mean, still get the rod, but you're gonna have to spend about a million or so on a good money making rod if you plan to get to the Ethereal Prism rod, which is the best rod in the game right now. I suggest you do the Tempest rod or its counterpart. The Tempest rod again, 1.85 mil. The Challenger's rod is, had to check to be sure, 2.5 mil. Now you might be saying, why in the world would I spend 2.5 mil when I only need 15 mil for the best rod in the game? Well, whatever rod you're using that got you the 2.5 mil, it's going to be a long road to keep going. And the reason why, again, these rods are so good, we'll take it from the Tempest rod in my experience with that. Because of the high lure speed on these two rods, and we'll compare the stats now, I guess. The lure speed on the Challenger's rod is 80%, and the lure speed on the Tempest rod, as you see, is 90%. So with the high lure speeds, you'd use a bait and it's an insta-catch, but then you get the plus 15 progress speed or plus 20 on the Challenger's rod. You're catching things way quicker. So in 10 minutes with any other rod, you might catch 500 fish. That's not even realistic, but 500 fish. But with this one, you might catch 750 in those same 10 minutes, which of course could be all mythical fish or it could be whatever, but you're going to be catching more fish in a shorter amount of time. Continuing down the stats, the only thing that you can really hold on these two rods is the luck. The luck on the Challenger's rod is 110%, while the luck on the Tempest rod is 120%. Those are both pretty low. I'm just going to keep it a buck. It's low. However, control on the Tempest rod is the standard 0.15, so we're chilling with that. But the resilience is 40%. Anything that you get to catch, if you're using a bait and it's a decent bait, I mean, not even worried about the bait, you don't even have to have a bait with resilience on it. 40% progress, or I mean, 40% resilience. Like I said, you want to be at the 30% mark, but once you get to 40, you start to chill. It's pretty easy to catch anything in the game. And then the max kg is 80 kg on the Tempest rod. That's the problem with the Tempest rod, is really the kg. Because other than that, the lure speed's fine. Use a bait, it's an insta catch. The luck is a little low, but you're catching things very fast, so it kind of makes up for that. And then the control is standard, so no complaints there. And the resilience is good, so you're catching anything. So you don't have to waste a slot. Like most other rods that are good, you do have to waste a slot on something. Either the luck is low, but the lure speed and everything else is good, or the lure speed most of the time is low, or the resilience is low. So you have to spend the enchant slot on, improving that, because if not, it's not going to be a fun rod to use, or it's going to be completely unbearable. This rod is solid all around. Catches quick, or lures quick and catches quick. Good resilience. You should be able to catch everything. So you can spend the slot on something like Quantum, which is a 1 in 4 chance for the 5 times. Like I said, 15% for the Heaven's Rod, which is the reason why it's not that good for making money. 15% is just not enough. 1/4 of the chance, though, when you're catching things quicker, it starts to work. Poseidon's Rod, it has its passive that gives you, the chance of getting money, whatever the percentage is. It's been a while since I used it. But it's only 70% of that money, which is about double, maybe. We can round up to double. It has a small chance that you get double the money. That's cool. But there's a chance I get 5 times. There's a 25% chance I get a 5 times sell on a specific fish. And when I'm catching things way quicker, because I don't have to waste the slot on Hasty for the Poseidon's Rod, you know, this rod, I don't really see a better money making rod in the game trying to get up to Ethereal Rod, which of course again is the best. So boom, there it is. That's my opinion. Tempest Rod, best money making thing in the game. Now, its problem, the 80 kg or the 80,000 kg. You can't really catch anything too good. So it's big brother, the Challenger's Rod. Making the comparison, the lure speed drops to 80%. I don't think let's see. Oh, okay, never mind. Seaweed. Seaweed works. You can use seaweed as a bait to make it an insta catch. I was about to say I don't think there's a bait that gives you plus 20 other than the rapid catchers, which ruins everything else. But you have seaweed, which also increases the resilience. The resilience on the Challenger's Rod in comparison to the 40% is 30%. So using seaweed, which is what you should be using. I mean, with Tempest Rod, you don't really need a bait. I mean, you can use a bait that, of course, gives you the plus 10%, but you can really use any of the trash baits and you'll be fine. But with this one, you get back to that 40% resilience, and it gets up to an insta catch, all for the price of 10% luck, because you're kind of stuck with the 10% luck debuff on the Challenger's Rod. In exchange, you get infinite kg, and you also get, instead of plus 15% progress speed, plus 20. Hands down, 100%. I'm going to say Challenger's Rod over Tempest Rod. I mean, it's 2.5 mil compared to the 1.8. So you are spending a good 700,000 more to try to get it. But like, once you get there, you can now catch megs and everything else, with the quantum. So you still have a chance of getting the 4 times or the 5 times on it. But the resilience is good, and so is the control. The control is 0.2 on this one. You get standard with the Tempest Rod, but the 0.2 control, that's basically the Heaven's Rod, which is half of the bar. You know what I mean? So realistically, I would say it's worth the extra money to pay for that. But if you don't want to, you'll be fine with the Tempest Rod. You just can't really catch any of the rare things like the megs or the whales or the orca. And you might be able to catch an orca, but you can't catch a whale or anything special that you might want. But if you give that extra 700,000, it's pretty worth it. Plus, you're catching fish, quicker. So it's going to make that money back at a faster rate. I say Challenger's Rod, but Tempest Rod is my buddy. You know what I mean? I got it. Either one, you'll be fine. Do what you do, but this is the best money making rod before you get up to Ethereal Prism.